Sabaidi, welcome. Today I'll show you how to make delicious pork LAO sausage known as Sai GOK LAO. Now I want to start with fresh ingredients. I'm going to grind my own meat, season it, stuff the sausage, and show you how to cook it. But first up, ingredients. I'll use pork shoulder, and I'm also going to use a very fatty pork belly. We're going to use a ton of garlic, maybe consider using the pre-packaged like this, galangal root, fresh kaffir lime leaves, white onion, green onion, cilantro, lemongrass, salt, black pepper, MSG, red chili flakes, chicken bouillon powder, sugar, oyster sauce, fish sauce, and then badak, which is unfiltered fish sauce. We'll also be using soaked sticky rice, soaked for 24 hours, and the pig intestine, which will be our casing for our sausage. You can get this usually at a local butcher or in the frozen section. Hog brand is very popular. You can get that at Asian and international markets. Let's get that soaked in cold water and set aside. Now let's get our meat prepared. So I have a meat grinder that I'll be using, so I'm going to cut all of my meat, the pork shoulder and the pork belly, into cubes that will grind easily. If you don't have a meat grinder, you can use your butcher knife to mince these down into a ground size. I will post all of the ingredients and the measurements that I'm using today in the description box below the video. I'll also include the meat grinding equipment that I've used in case you want to purchase a meat grinder. If the amount of ingredients that I'm using looks like a lot, it's totally because it is. I have a family of 6 and I have a lot of friends and a huge family that I want to share my sausage with. So I'll be giving this out to my friends and family and also putting it in a vacuum sealed bag and storing some of it in the freezer for my 4 kids to enjoy for the rest of the year. It does last about 6 months in the freezer, so I highly recommend making the sausage in bulk because the process is a little time consuming, so you might as well just make a bunch all at once. And here we are grinding our meat. I'm just adding the cubed meat, both the shoulder and the belly, to my grinder, feeding it through, and I'm using a large grind option because that is my preference. Once the meat is all ground together, we'll give it a really good mix and then we're going to set it aside. And now we're going to tackle preparing all of our delicious herbs and spices to go into our dish. I first start off by slicing our kaffir lime leaves very, very thin. We want all of our ingredients to be as finely chopped as possible. Then we'll move on to our galangal root. I like to cut this into small strips, and then using my Ninja blender, I will grind that down until it's a very fine powder. We'll repeat that with the lemongrass, chopping it up into small bits, placing it in the Ninja blender, and then again grinding it down till we get a very, very fine powder. Now the garlic we're going to do slightly different. I throw the garlic in a Ninja blender, add just a little bit of water, and blend it until it's a paste like this. We will mince our white onion. You could also substitute yellow onion, and shallot is really great as well. We'll get that minced down very fine, and then we'll also mince down our green onion, also known as spring onion. We'll remove the stems from our cilantro and mince that down. With our herbs prepped, let's get started on seasoning the meat. I'm first going to divide my meat into 2 separate bowls because I want one to be spicy and one non-spicy. And then begin by adding all of those herbs, starting with the garlic. We're going to do it in both bowls. Then we'll be placing our cilantro, green onion, white onion, galangal root, lemongrass, our kaffir lime leaves. We're going to get even amounts into each bowl. Now the only difference between these 2 bowls is one is going to have red pepper flakes. Both will have chicken bouillon, sugar, MSG, salt, black pepper, fish sauce, badak, oyster sauce, and then our 24-hour soaked sticky rice or your cooked sticky rice. Whether you like it just soaked or whether you like it cooked is really preference. And then take your time, using a gloved hand, really get in there and mix all the ingredients together very well. We want all of those beautiful, delicious flavors to be throughout the sausage. And now is a really great time before we put the sausage into the casing to taste our mixture. So I suggest just making a small patty and popping that onto the stovetop in a pan with a little bit of oil and cooking that and giving it a taste. And then you can adjust your seasonings if you feel like it's not quite right. And definitely do this before you put it into casing. To prepare our casing, we're going to remove it from the water it was soaking in, and I like to open it and fill it with cold water just to clean out the insides very thoroughly. Gently place your sausage casing over the filling nozzle. I use a medium to large size nozzle, and then what we'll do is when we turn on the machine, we'll start feeding our sausage mixture through, and that will fill our sausage. If you don't have a machine, no worries. What you can do is take a water bottle and cut that in half. Place your sausage casing over the opening where you would drink from, and then just feed your sausage through the water bottle into your casing. And here I am twisting my sausage into links. You could do links or you could do coils. I would suggest baking the sausage in the oven, or using the broil setting, cooking on a grill, or in a pan on the stovetop until it's golden brown and crispy. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the recipe. Please subscribe. Cup chai.